Hey guys, it's Lane with Tim's Nation. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the DeathWatch list I'm taking into DJ's Ad Mech today. I'm doing actually something a little different than what I've done before. I'm mixing up some of the models. Some of the models I haven't played a lot lately in my DeathWatch. And I'm taking my DeathWatch not as the DeathWatch Detachment, but as the Vanguard Spearheads. They're DeathWatch Vanguard Spearhead. I'm going to try some of the shenanigans. If you've been paying attention to competitive 40K, some people have stumbled on Vanguard and taking Centurion Devastator squads and taking Ultramarine Vanguard so they can make Centurion Devastator squads deep strike so they can pick them up and deep strike every turn. It's very strong. I've had someone play that against me a couple times. It's very powerful. I'm just going to try something similar, but I don't have Centurions, so we're going to be using DeathWatch Proteus kill teams, DeathWatch Terminators, Plasma Inceptors, and using those strats on there. Because my kill teams and my DeathWatch Terminators have so many better shooting abilities than regular Marine units, it's not going to be quite as good as Centurions in the Vanguard Detachment, but it'll be pretty good. And because I've got captains on 2 of my squads throughout the game, I'll be able to use that stratagem to give me +1 AP and +1 to hit more often. I can do it twice per turn. So we'll see how that plays out today. And if you're a DeathWatch fan, hopefully you'll be glad to see that I've actually brought the Corvus Blackstar today. My spaceship is back. I don't think I've played him at all in 10th edition. He always just seems like he's too many points for what he does. But we're going to go through the list here, talk about everything I'm bringing, back some Proteus kill teams, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about how I hope to perform in the game later on. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look. All right, guys, we've got a DeathWatch army in the Vanguard Spearhead Detachment. Vanguard Spearhead means that we have access to their enhancements and stratagems. And as a bonus, we also, the army rules are that the whole army is stealth, or not stealth, I'm sorry, let me read it here. So whenever they're being targeted outside of 12, they are -1 to hit, and they have the benefit of cover. So they don't actually have stealth. They are -1 to hit. So anything that ignores stealth, they will still get their -1 to hit. And anything that does have stealth, hint, hint, Corvus Blackstar, they will actually have the ability to stack those two and be -1 to hit both from stealth and from the army rule. So let's take a look here. So we have a bunch of characters today. Actually, 5 characters. This is way too many characters for me. As you'll see with this list here, it's kind of, it's got some key big units. I feel like I probably don't have enough units and enough scoring units to really be a competitive list, but I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun to play. I just don't know if it's super high competitive, but we'll give it a try. But 5 characters, yeah, 5 characters. So we do, of course, have the Callous Assassin. She has the ability to pick up and drop down at the end of every one of my opponent's turns. Plus, she can vect. She can increase the cost of a command or battle tactic stratagem for my opponent. So she is very useful. Also, she has lone ops, so she can't be shot outside of 12. Then, with all of our Space Marine characters, we've got 2 captains, a Watchmaster, and a lieutenant with combi weapons. So the Watchmaster, I have given him the enhancement, the Blade Driven Deep. What this means is that he's going to attach onto one of these Proteus kill teams, and he's going to allow that Proteus kill team to infiltrate. Not only will they infiltrate because of the enhancement, his ability allows his unit to advance or fall back and still shoot and charge. So he makes them extremely flexible. But being able to infiltrate and then both advance and shoot and charge is super strong. Then the Watchmaster's additional ability is that he also can vect a battle tactic stratagem like the Callous Assassin can. So I'll just have to remember to pick those 2 out, those battle tactic strats. We'll see what battle tactic strats the Ad Mech have here today. Also, we've got a regular captain. This one has a captain with the Relic Shield. He'll be joining the other Proteus kill team. And what he's going to do is his kill team will be riding in the Corvus Blackstar. And because he's there, basically I'm going to try to hit with both of these kill teams turn 1. One of them will be infiltrating. One will be riding up in the Blackstar. The Blackstar is going to start on the table. And both will be able to use the stratagem. Let's see here. Strike from the Shadows, which gives the unit +1 to hit and +1 AP when they're targeting a unit outside of 12 inches. So I'm hoping to get them into the range and let them do some work here. Turn 1. because they'll be positioned both through the Corvus Black Star and through the Infiltrate. Next, I've got a Terminator captain. He's going to join the Terminator squad, of course. He does not have any enhancements, but of course, later on in the game, in turn 2 or 3, whenever those Terminators come in, he will allow his squad to use the stratagem for free. And that Strike from the Shadows stratagem is a battle tactic, so he'll allow his squad to use that for free, even if someone else has used it already. And then finally, we have the Lieutenant with Combi Bolter. This is or Combi Weapon. This guy, he's sneaky. You know, he has the lone op, and he has the ability to pick an objective marker, and my army will reroll 1s to wound against that. But more importantly, he can sneak around. He's a sneaky little git. He has lone op, and he will have the ability to move once after my opponent completes a charge or a regular move, so he can be sneaky. But I also gave him the enhancement Execute and Redeploy. So he has 2 sneaky movement shenanigans. The Execute and Redeploy allows him to move after he shoots. So his in the shooting phase, after his unit has shot, and he's just a unit by himself, they can make a normal move. So it gives him the ability to move after he shoots and to move after my opponent's movement. So really, he's going to be playing around the center of the board, staying out of the 12 inches because he's got lone op and trying to stay alive, but staying near the center of the board so that he can do actions there and score points as well. So that's it. That's 5 characters. Very heavy on the characters. The Proteus kill teams. I have 2 identical Proteus kill teams. These guys, pretty expensive, a lot of points, but they are pretty strong. Each one has 4 Terminators, 3 of which have Cyclone missile launchers, in addition to their Storm Bolters. We have 1 Terminator with Thunderhammer Storm Shield. We have 4 guys with frag cannons. These things are D3 shots, but they're rapid fire D3, and they have blast, so they can put out a lot of shots. They're only an 18-inch range, so to get within rapid fire, they do need to be within 9. But yeah, they can put out a lot of shots, and they're strength 7, AP 1, 2 damage, so they can put the hurt out. And there's 1 Marine with a Thunderhammer or a Deathwatch Thunderhammer, and then 1 Marine on a bike. The special rule for this unit is that they get +1 to hit when something is I forget. If it's above half strength. If the target unit is half strength or above, these guys get +1 to hit when they're shooting and fighting it. So they're pretty strong as it is. And if they're going into anything stealth, that stratagem with a +1 to hit can combine with that to still give them +1, even if they're shooting something that's stealth or is -1 to hit. So 2 of the Proteus kill teams. And then we have 1 Deathwatch Terminator squad. Deathwatch Terminators can take 3 heavy weapons in a 5-man. So you've got 3 Cyclone missile launchers here as well. And as I said, they will be accompanied by the captain. Their special rule for the Deathwatch Terminators, when they complete a charge, anything they get into engagement range with has to take a battle shock test. Then we have a single 6-man Plasma Inceptor squad. These guys are going to be dropping in later in the game. And of course, that stratagem, the Strike from the Shadows stratagem, is going to be great for them as well, giving them +1 to hit and allowing them, they already reroll their wounds anyways because they're twin linked, just making the Inceptors giving them extra damage output, making them more efficient. Then we've got 2 vehicles. We do have the Thunderstrike Landspeeder. This gives my unit army +1 to wound against vehicles and monsters. I didn't tech for this specifically for this list, but most of DJ's army is vehicles, so I'll be getting +1 to wound against them. And then, yes, the Corvus Black Star has returned. So the Corvus Black Star is a transport airplane, transport vehicle, and it can take a certain number of models or just 1 kill team. So no matter what kind of models you have in your kill team, its ability lets it take a single kill team. So no matter how many characters are attached to it, whether it's Terminators, Bikers, whatnot. So one of these Proteus kill teams will be riding in there. My plan today is for the Corvus to start on the table, to be in hover mode. And he still gets a 20-inch move, so I'll move 20 inches. The guys will get out, deploy 3 inches out of there, disembark, and then hopefully be in range with those 18-inch frag cannons to do some work. Now, it does a few mortal wounds on a flyover. If it flies over a unit, I roll 66, and every 5 of does a mortal. So it might crap out a couple mortal wounds while it flies over something. That's really it. It's got a twin-linked las cannon on it. It's got a storm bolter on it. It's got a few missiles. That's about it. It's not. I don't think it's an exceptional unit, but for the purposes of getting in for an alpha strike, I think it'll be good for that. And the fact that it has stealth built into its a keyword of stealth on there, and with this detachment, if my opponent's more than 12 inches away, they'll be -1 to hit. Those things stack, so he'll be really hard to hit. Obviously, they can't accumulate more than -1, but if somebody has a +1 to hit or something, it's going to stack. And it's kind of neat that my flyer will be in cover if I'm shooting from more than 12 inches away. So just make it a little extra durable. All right, that is the army for today. All right, so I'm excited to try this. Like I said, I don't think it's super competitive, but I think it'll hit pretty hard. I don't think I have quite enough assets to compete with an army that has more units than I do and that they can score some more. But I'm excited to have some fun with this. The Corvus is not something I've played in 10th edition. I didn't even use it that much in 9th, so I'm glad to have it on the table. I literally had to brush dust off it. It was in a nice cabinet, but it still got dusty. I had to wipe it off before I took photos, but I'm glad to actually blow the dust off and get it on the table again. Key stratagems we're looking out for here. Strike from the shadows gives me +1 to hit and the extra AP if I'm targeting something more than 12 inches away. That is a battle tactic. So because I have a couple different squads that have captains in them, it's not super efficient to have multiple captains, but the fact is throughout the game, I'll be able to use that stratagem twice per turn. Once with a unit that does not have a captain and once with a unit that does. And then, yeah, giving them not a whole lot of anti-vehicle stuff because the crack missiles aren't super strong and they're only AP2. The extra AP will help. The +1 to hit from the speeder is going to be key. Because unlike regular DeathWatch, I don't have Tome of Ectoclades to pop off because I'm not running the Black Spear detachment, so I won't be able to have that turn of rerolling wounds. But I'm just hoping the extra AP is going to make a difference here. Really, we'll see. I think it'll hit really hard, but I might just be outscored in the end because I just have fewer assets. I have a lot of points tied up in characters. But I want to see how the ability to infiltrate one of those squads works. I want to see how that lieutenant with the combi weapon works, because like I said, he's got 2 movement shenanigans, because he's got the enhancement that lets him move after he shoots, gets a regular move after he shoots, and then also the fact that he can move when my opponent moves anywhere near him. And with Lone Operative, that means he's going to be really hard to get to, and he'll really be able to sneak around and score some points there. So follow me over to the battle report, guys. Let's see how these DeathWatch Vanguard do today, all right? All right, have a good one.